toxic masculinity.
All right, let's get into this. So this is the Biden administration's response to Trump's being banned yet again on Facebook. Let's listen to this.
Well, let me first say that this is an independent board's decision, and we're not going to have any comment on the future of the former president's social media platform. That's a decision that it sounds like the independent board punted back to Facebook to make in the next 6 months, as I know you all have reported. The president's view is that the major platforms have a responsibility related to the health and safety of all Americans to stop amplifying untrustworthy content, disinformation and misinformation, especially related to COVID-19, vaccinations, and elections. And we've seen that over the past several months, broadly speaking. I'm not placing any blame on any individual or group. We've seen it from a number of sources. He also supports better privacy protections and a robust antitrust program. So his view is that there's more that needs to be done to ensure that this type of misinformation, disinformation, damaging, sometimes life-threatening information is not going out.
All right, one thing that she said was really weird. She said antitrust. I think she made a mistake there, because antitrust is like, breaking up monopolies and stuff like that. So I think what she meant is, breaking the public trust or something. I'm not really sure what she meant, but that doesn't make any sense. But then she says we need more. More needs to be done to stop the spread of misinformation, disinformation. Here's the problem with the left's definition of disinformation or misinformation or dangerous disinformation. It's basically anything they disagree with. So if you're pro-life, you're spreading dangerous disinformation. If you think that the election was not perfect and pure and honest, then you're spreading dangerous disinformation. If you think that Hunter Biden's laptop is legitimately his laptop and has his files on it, you're spreading dangerous disinformation. If you think that Biden, fired Victor Shokin because he wanted to stop him investigating Burisma, you're spreading disinformation. If you think that Hunter Biden got rich off of working with Ukraine and China, and that China was using Hunter Biden to basically bribe Joe Biden, you're spreading disinformation. Now, all of that stuff can be looked at, all of it can be examined, all of it can be disputed, but there is evidence to support all of those things. And it is reasonable for people to believe those things. In fact, like I said before, I think it's more reasonable for people to believe those things than the opposite. And yet, because we're conservatives, because we believe the things that we believe, we're spreading dangerous disinformation. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, like my video on lockdowns not working, this idea that being outdoors, you always need to wear a mask. Being outdoors, is somehow dangerous. Like, we have to be locked inside, where it's actually more easy to spread coronavirus. That's a bad thing, right? Lockdowns are bad. Being stuck inside is bad, right? Being outside is good. It's much more difficult to catch coronavirus outside, right? That's a perfectly reasonable thing, backed up by the science, backed up by articles that I've read. Ashley, the woman that compiles my stories, has written, if you think boys have penises and girls have vaginas, disinformation. So apparently, the movie Kindergarten Cop, that needs to be banned because that's spreading dangerous disinformation. Yeah. If you think that, well, you can't just change your gender by thinking about it. I think I feel like a woman. I am a woman. If you don't think that's legitimate, well, you're spreading dangerous disinformation. And so this is the problem, right? This is the problem, that the left classifies dangerous disinformation as just whatever they disagree with. And so if you have all leftists on a panel that's judging whether or not Trump should or should not be allowed on, a particular social media platform, of course they're going to lie and say, well, all this is dangerous disinformation, because they believe that anything they disagree with is dangerous disinformation. The way they classify things now is a way to manipulate how people think, manipulate the way that they do things, to reconcile truly harmful measures, right? I think it's about as harmful as it can be. Like this idea that we have to censor political speech, not only political speech, but politicians, because we disagree with what they say. I mean, imagine if, during Trump's tenure as president, we stopped allowing newspapers to print Democrat points of view. We stopped allowing people to print Democrat ideas or leftist ideas on social media. Everybody was banned from doing that stuff. Trump would have been rightfully called a fascist, right? I mean, Trump was called a fascist even though he didn't do anything like that. But, I mean, there would have been, I would say that buildings would have been burned down, but buildings were burned down even though he didn't do that. So, yeah, the left has gone crazy. It's weird. It's like the left accuses the right of everything the left does, and then the left reacts to the right as if the right is doing what they're doing. And it's just bizarre, man. The left is just, how do we make these insane people sane? I mean, they've gone so far crazy off the. It is weird. It's hard to understand. It's actually really hard to contemplate how people can be so brainwashed, because we're not talking about just all lunatics. Like I've met people who are like very successful, relatively sensible people, but then they believe the leftist propaganda. They think that Joe Biden is a better choice than Trump. I mean, nobody's excited for Joe Biden, but anyway, I'm done. I'm done talking about this crap. That's the news of the day. I have a couple of funny ideas, so let's do the Q&A. If you got a question or a comment, please go ahead and put it up here. Let me try to get. Oh, hey, somebody sent a super chat. Let me read that. David J. Corica, Patriot. Sorry, did I say David? Daniel J. Corica, Patriot Daniel, writes, Trump didn't lose, Epstein didn't kill himself, and we did nothing wrong on that day in January. Yeah, I love that. That's absolutely true. Well, what the heck was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So I was thinking about getting together some funds and getting some people together and building an art installation piece. Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.